Hey folks, another review from my recent hoard of VHS from the thrift shop. We will be reviewing 1985's Enemy Mine. This movie has a 108-minute runtime starring Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. in disguise as a lizard man called an alien race called Drax. This movie has an interesting story. So it came out the same year as Back to the Future, and it was a complete and utter box office failure. By the time they added in advertising and all of the budget, it cost $40 million to make and barely made $12 million at the box office. So originally this movie was based out of a studio in Budapest with a guy named Richard Lorecrane as the director. And after creative differences with Fox about 3 or 4 weeks into production and $9 million already spent, he left the project. Then they bring in the director, Wolfgang Petersen. He's a German director. A year before this movie, he directed the 1980s classic, The Never-Ending Story. So same director as The Never-Ending Story. And he took over the production, moved the principal production to Munich, Germany, as well as the Canary Islands to create this alien planet. So basically the premise of this movie is Dennis Quaid plays some astronaut in the late 21st century. The battle taking place between humans as humans expand their reach into the universe with these Drax, which is played by Louis Gossett Jr., and they get in a space battle. I thought the outer space sequences had a very Stanley Kubrick vibe. They were awesome. Again, this is in an era of practical effects. It says right here, special effects is by ILM. I thought this was a master for film. It's based off of a 1979 novella by a guy named Barry Longyear, and his novella won an award that year for the story. I like original stories, right? Now and more than ever, we're seeing a lot of unoriginal material. Actually, maybe I was a little too harsh on the Seinfeld movie because of Unfrosted was original content. And I feel like that's lacking a lot because everyone's just doing remakes. They're doing a Twister remake, part 2, called Twisters. I don't know. I like stuff like this. I like sci-fi. I like interesting stories. They wanted to do a completely different take. Wolfgang Petersen wasn't wanting to do a shoot-'em-up type of movie, and he didn't even want to do it until he read the script. This movie has a deeper meaning about peace and unity and understanding somebody else. So, not for my friend Jonathan. Sorry, friend. You might not like that. But anyway, I digress. Critics mixed. This movie, on Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score is 59%. Audience members, over 10,000 audience members have submitted their rating for an average of 68%, which isn't bad. IMDb, not bad either, 6.8 out of 10. 102 people have submitted their review on Google for an average of 4.6 out of 5. So again, this movie had a budget of $29 million and ran closer to $40 million with all the advertising, but only grossed $12.3 million at the box office. There was a lot of good stuff coming out in 85. Like I said, Back to the Future is one of them. I think people are misguided in not thinking this is a classic. And as I read on Wikipedia, it is now considered a cult classic. This is the first sci-fi movie from the West to be shown in the USSR, aka the Soviet Union. Hugely popular in the former USSR at the time. So it was a breakout to the communists, maybe because it showed peace and unity and getting along with people that are not like you. So I recommend it. I thought it was a fun movie. It is rated PG-13. I feel like this movie could have been rated PG and then kids could have enjoyed it too because it wasn't terribly scary. And I love practical effects of this era. I liked the way they did the practical effects. I liked the cinematography. I liked some of the space villains. I loved all the space fighting sequences. It's just a fun movie. It is a little bit long at 108 minutes long, but it was still very enjoyable. And I am going to go a rare 4 out of 5 on this underrated 80s sci-fi classic. I think it's a fun movie, like I said a million times already. Let me just give you a little bit of the back of the box here. because I don't really know what else to add. Sworn enemies, but they had to become friends to survive. So again, two different people from completely different species and completely different worlds coming together, finding a way to survive as they crash land on a hostile alien planet, and you kind of go from there. No spoilers. Check it out. Tell me if I'm way off base or if you too have discovered this underrated 80s classic and you enjoy it as well. Enemy Mine. That's a wrap, folks. Until next time, we'll see you then.